The monarchy has always been sustained by a wider family network, from consorts who shaped court culture, heirs who never ruled, siblings who carried duty without authority, and figures whose personal lives sometimes reshaped the institution itself. Let's take a look at this British royalty and where they were buried. Queen Anne died on the 1st of August 1714 at the age of 49, worn down by years of illness and personal loss. Her reign was defined by physical fragility and emotional endurance. She suffered from chronic gout, recurring fevers, and mobility issues that left her increasingly dependent on attendants. Far more devastating, however, was the repeated loss of her children. 17 pregnancies ended with miscarriages, a fact that haunted her reign and forced Parliament to confront the question of succession with urgency. Anne is buried at Westminster Abbey, among the kings and queens of earlier centuries. Her historical importance rests on the political transformation that occurred under her rule. The Acts of Union in 1707 united England and Scotland into the Kingdom of Great Britain, creating a single parliament and laying the constitutional foundation of the modern British state. King George I died on the 11th of June 1727 at the age of 67 after suffering a stroke while traveling through Hanover. His death, far from Britain, reflected the emotional distance that characterized much of his reign. Born and raised in Germany, George never fully integrated into British political or social life, speaking limited English and relying heavily on advisors. He was originally buried in the chapel of the Schloss in Hanover, but his remains were later reinterred at the Berggarten Mausoleum at Herrenhausen in 1957. Under George I, Britain moved decisively away from personal monarchy toward constitutional governance. King George II died suddenly on the 25th of October 1760 at the age of 77, collapsing at Kensington Palace after a ruptured aorta. His death ended a reign that saw Britain rise as a dominant imperial and naval power. He is buried at Westminster Abbey, the last British monarch to be interred there. George II's reign coincided with major global conflicts, including the War of Austrian Succession and the 7 Years' War. These wars expanded British influence in North America, India, and the Caribbean, shaping the empire Britain would inherit in the 19th century. He was also the last monarch to personally lead troops into battle, a symbolic moment marking the transition from warrior kings to constitutional figureheads. King George III died on the 29th of January 1820 at the age of 81, after years of mental illness, blindness, and isolation. His final decade was spent removed from public life, while his son ruled as Prince Regent. He is buried at St. George's Chapel, a site that would become central to royal burial traditions. George III's reign was one of the longest and most complex in British history. He presided over the loss of the American colonies, a defining moment that reshaped Britain's imperial identity. Yet he also oversaw the Industrial Revolution's early stages, massive naval expansion, and Britain's eventual victory over Napoleonic France. His reign transformed Britain into the world's leading industrial and maritime power, even as monarchy itself became more restrained and symbolic. King George IV died on the 26th of June 1830 at the age of 67, after years of declining health brought on by excess and indulgence. Long before ascending the throne, he ruled as Prince Regent, shaping British culture during a period of extraordinary artistic output. He is buried at St. George's Chapel. Politically, his reign was controversial and often ineffective. Culturally, it was transformative. The Regency era produced enduring achievements in architecture, literature, and design. George IV patronized artists, architects, and craftsmen, leaving behind landmarks such as the Brighton Pavilion. His reign demonstrated how monarchy could influence national identity through culture rather than governance. King William IV died on the 20th of June 1837 at the age of 71 from heart failure. A former naval officer, he brought an informal style to the throne that contrasted sharply with his predecessor. He is buried at St. George's Chapel. William IV's historical importance lies in constitutional reform. By granting royal assent to the Reform Act of 1832, he helped avert political crisis and broaden parliamentary representation. His reign signaled the monarchy's acceptance of democratic change and confirmed that royal authority would no longer block reform demanded by the public. Queen Victoria died on the 22nd of January 1901 at the age of 81 after a series of strokes. Her reign lasted more than 63 years, spanning a period of unprecedented transformation. She is buried at Frogmore Mausoleum alongside Prince Albert. Victoria presided over the height of the British Empire, industrial expansion, and sweeping social change. She reshaped monarchy into a moral institution centered on family, duty, and restraint. This image restored public confidence after earlier scandals and defined royal conduct well into the 20th century. King Edward VII died on the 6th of May 1910 at the age of 68 after a series of heart attacks. He is buried at St. George's Chapel. Edward VII modernized the monarchy, embracing diplomacy and public engagement. His personal relationships with European leaders shaped alliances that influenced the political landscape before the First World War. His reign marked a shift toward a more visible and socially engaged monarchy. Queen Alexandra died on the 20th of November 1925 at the age of 80 after years of declining health. Born a Danish princess, she became one of the most popular royal consorts of the modern era. She is buried at St. George's Chapel. She embraced public engagement, charity, and visibility, setting expectations that later royal women would inherit. King George V died on the 20th of January 1936 at the age of 70 after prolonged illness. He is buried at St. George's Chapel. George V guided Britain through the First World War, reinforcing the monarchy as a symbol of national unity. By renaming the royal house Windsor, he preserved public trust at a moment of intense political strain. His reign stabilized the monarchy in a rapidly changing world. Princess Louise died on the 3rd of December 1939 at the age of 91. Her ashes were placed in the royal vault at St. George's Chapel before being moved to the royal burial ground at Frogmore in 1940. Louise was unconventional by royal standards. She pursued artistic training, supported women's education, and lived with a level of independence rare for royal women of her era. Prince George, Duke of Kent, died on the 25th of August 1942 at the age of 39 in an RAF air crash while on active service during the Second World War. He was first placed in the royal vault at St. George's Chapel and later transferred to the royal burial ground at Frogmore. His death reinforced the monarchy's wartime sacrifices and underscored the personal risks carried by royal family members during national conflict. King George VI died on the 6th of February 1952 at the age of 56 from coronary thrombosis. He is buried at the King George VI Memorial Chapel. Rising unexpectedly to the throne, he became a symbol of resolve during the Second World War. His steady presence during bombings and hardship restored faith in the monarchy at a moment of national crisis. King Edward VIII died on the 28th of May 1972 at the age of 77 from throat cancer. He is buried at Royal Burial Ground. His abdication in 1936 triggered a constitutional crisis that reshaped royal duty. By placing personal choice above obligation, Edward permanently altered public expectations of monarchy and succession. Princess Diana died on the 31st of August 1997 at the age of 36 following a car crash in Paris. She was buried at Althorpe. Diana transformed public expectations of the royal family through emotional openness, humanitarian advocacy, and personal vulnerability. Her burial away from Windsor reflected both security concerns and her family identity. In death, she remains one of the most influential royal figures of the 20th century, despite never becoming queen. Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, died on the 30th of March 2002 at the age of 101. She is buried at the King George VI Memorial Chapel. During the Second World War, she became a symbol of civilian endurance, refusing to leave London during the Blitz. In widowhood, she maintained public affection for the monarchy through decades of social change. Her burial alongside her husband and daughters reflects the modern royal emphasis on family unity. Princess Margaret died on the 9th of February 2002 at the age of 71 after a series of strokes. Her ashes were placed at the King George VI Memorial Chapel. Margaret's life symbolized the tension between personal desire and royal duty. Her abandoned marriage plans and later divorce marked a turning point in how the public viewed royal personal freedom. Prince Philip died on the 9th of April 2021 at the age of 99 after a period of ill health. He is buried at the King George VI Memorial Chapel. As consort to Queen Elizabeth II for more than 70 years, Philip redefined the role of a modern royal husband. He supported scientific education, youth development, and environmental awareness while navigating the challenge of subordinating personal ambition to the crown. His burial beside the Queen completes one of the longest royal marriages in British history. Queen Elizabeth II died on the 8th of September 2022 at the age of 96 at Balmoral Castle. She is buried at the King George VI Memorial Chapel. Her reign spanned more than 7 decades, witnessing the transition from empire to commonwealth and the transformation of global politics. She maintained political neutrality across 15 prime ministers and became a worldwide symbol of continuity, stability, and service.